Things are changing by the day in the fight against the coronavirus. We have to be flexible. We also have to be firm. Today, after conferring with our police chief, fire chief, and our lifeguard division chief, we are taking action to limit the potential exposures to the public and our public safety professionals, all of whom are represented here today. This weekend, in response to numerous reports of gatherings at parks and beaches, gatherings both large and small, we closed down city-owned parking lots around beaches, parks, and trails. Now I am directing City of San Diego staff to move forward with the closure of all parks, beaches, boardwalks, bays, city lakes, and trails to the public until further notice in order to slow the spread of COVID-19. We need to spend time looking out after each other, not dealing with groups of people that aren't taking this as seriously as they should. These are not actions that we are taking lightly. You know, we have been encouraging the public, obviously, to get outside during the stay-at-home order. And I want to be clear, we are still encouraging people to go outdoors. But go outdoors close to home. It's time to protect each other. Physical distancing is the key to beating this virus. And that's why we are acting today. The time for education is ending, and the time for enforcement is beginning. I've given the chiefs the discretion to enforce as they see fit. Officers can and will fine individuals who do not comply with these rules. The advice of our public health officials is clear. This action is necessary.
As a native San Diegan, I really believe that most of those that were out this weekend that were causing the problems at the beach because of the social distancing, they will adhere to these new guidelines. We'll still be in education first, but if those choose to not, then we can use two different codes. There's the government code that pertains to the state order of not following the stay-at-home order, and then there's also a municipal code within the city of San Diego of being at a place that's closed specifically to beaches, bays, and parks. And so we'll be using those. They are considered a misdemeanor, so there could be confinement up to 6 months, and a fine up to $1,000 or both. Again, we don't want to use the enforcement aspect of this. We want people to self-govern themselves, but the enforcement tool is there.
All of its beautiful beaches were packed with people. That was also true of its parks, despite a warning from the city that certain areas would be closed in light of the ongoing coronavirus outbreak.
And despite numerous warnings from local, state, and federal officials, it appears some San Diegans are not taking the stay-at-home order seriously, and they are not social distancing and avoiding social gathering.
Boss. All right, we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so just if you guys want to skate on the sidewalk next to the street, it's good to go. Yeah, we're just like informing. A lot of people don't know, and they have questions, but going forward in the next coming days, there's a police team there patrolling, and we don't want to give people tickets, and they're going to try not to. It's just kind of up to your attitude if you comply with it and whatnot.
Good to go.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening.
We'll get out of here.
But, yeah, again, so the beaches, parks, and boardwalks in San Diego are closed.
Yeah.
Public health ordered by the mayor a couple days ago.
Okay.
So we're just asking everyone to please comply, and just if you want to ride your scooter, you want to be outside, exercise,
Yeah.
do so in the other public areas, sidewalk, and the streets. But again, parks, beaches, and boardwalks are
Okay.
public right now.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good, man.
first full weekend of beach closures in San Diego as safety measures to stop the spread of coronavirus. Lifeguards, police, and park rangers have been enforcing the city ordinance urging the public to stay home.
The sun is out and the weather is great, but the beach remains closed. This comes for the first full weekend of San Diego beach closures. After 4 lifeguards tested positive for coronavirus, beachgoers are now having to stay away as lifeguards continue to enforce it.
People are doing what they're supposed to here in San Diego, and it's a good thing.
San Diego Lifeguards Chief James Garland says the public is following the city ordinance to stay away from the beach.
We're patrolling and we're making the contacts. The signage has increased, so we slowly built up signage over the last few days.
Ever since access to the ocean and boardwalks were closed earlier this week, San Diegans did not take that coronavirus precaution lightly. Many still wanted to surf or at least exercise on the sand, as some California beaches are still open.
I want to surf. I'm a local surfer. I want to get out there. It's just not the time for that.
The beaches, boardwalks, and parks are closed. This includes the water.
Enforcement of the law continues from the PA system at Mission Beach. There are many signs posted up now saying area closed to all traffic. We saw San Diego police officers giving out warnings. Then at La Jolla Shores, some tried to make the most of the beach closure by walking on the sidewalk and biking. Each closed parking lot had security enforcing the rules, as violators could receive a citation and face a misdemeanor charge.
You can get up to a $1,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail. So no, this is a misdemeanor and it is serious. We are taking it seriously.
Some lifeguard towers looked lifeless. 4 San Diego lifeguards tested positive for coronavirus and are recovering at home with mild symptoms. Many more lifeguards were tested, and Chief Garland says those results came back negative. He urges the public to continue to stay away during this stay-at-home order.
Protect your responders. By going out there, somebody has to make a contact with you, with be it PD, lifeguard, park ranger, even fire if something happens to you. You're putting all of those people at risk.
So again, the good news, lifeguards say that people are complying with this new order. And even with the yellow caution tape up, people may walk up toward the beach, but they do remain socially distant and they keep their 6 feet away from each other, even if they're getting pictures of the beach on this beautiful day.
The city of San Diego is closing all of its beaches, its parks, and its trails. It is the latest dramatic effort to battle the spread of coronavirus. Right now, 230 people in the county are confirmed to have the coronavirus. 37 people who have been infected are being treated in local hospitals. 18 are now in intensive care. And yesterday, the county announced a man in his 70s is the first San Diegan to die of COVID-19. San Diego City Hall with what Mayor Kevin Faulconer says forced him to shut down those most popular places to hike and walk.
And that press conference wrapped up just a few minutes ago, and the new information is that after this weekend, after we saw several people at the beach not practicing their social distancing, Mayor Kevin Faulconer did announce that all beaches, parks, boardwalks, city trails, and city lakes will be closed until further notice. Now, the mayor said that this is all about looking out for each other and limiting exposure from one person to another, also making sure that first responders are themselves safe when they are out responding to their calls.
The impacts over some that made the wrong decision over the weekend increased the risk to other San Diegans, as well as some of our public safety professionals. Of course, we will continue to take the actions necessary in the event the public safety professionals need to be tested. But we're really talking about today is the actions of a few can cost the lives Amendment.
Now, Chief Nislight said that there will still be an education portion. The officers will be out there educating the public, but if people do not listen, they will move into an enforcement phase, and that is where people could start facing misdemeanors for not obeying the city's rules. Now, during this press conference, we also learned that the city firefighters do have one positive case of coronavirus. There are several others that are also exposed and are in quarantine waiting for testing. The police department and lifeguards also say they have several people that were exposed. They are awaiting either testing or their test results. But again, all beaches, boardwalks, city parks, and city lakes are closed for the time being to limit exposure and essentially force people to practice social distancing.
The county is now considering whether to close other beaches and parks.
As the number of positive COVID-19 cases continues to jump every day, county health officials say maintaining that social distance of 6 feet is critical to stopping the spread. Tape blocked the parking lots to some San Diego beaches this weekend, an attempt to keep the crowds away. County health leaders say they want people to get out and exercise, but only as a family unit, not with other people.
Before, we wanted people to have the opportunity to enjoy walking on the beach while experiencing or maintaining social distancing. It looks like people are not able to do that, and we will be issuing an amendment to our health officer's order that if jurisdictions are not able to enforce social gathering, we will close beaches, and that amendment to our health officer's order will be issued later today.
County leaders will leave it up to the jurisdictions, but if they don't have the resources to enforce the social distancing, the county will shut down the beaches. Health officials say testing is increasing every week. Drive-through testing is now available at SDCCU Stadium, but a referral is still needed from a doctor or healthcare provider.
This action, staying at home if you have mild to moderate symptoms, helps to protect our healthcare workers and decreases their use of personal protective equipment.
County health officials also talked about the importance of mental health during this time, getting out and exercising, but doing it while maintaining a distance of 6 feet.
Closing all beaches, parks, and trails, the latest strict measure to slow the spread of COVID-19. This is coming after hundreds were seen ignoring social distancing rules over the weekend.
Virginia, you could say that the few ruined it for the many, but it was certainly more than a few who were out this weekend on San Diego beaches. Now this new order in place.
Go ahead, boss. You can go.
Impacts over some that made the wrong decision over the weekend increase the risk to other San Diegans, as well as some of our public safety professionals.
With the announcement of the closures at all city parks, trails, and beaches, police, fire, and lifeguards all announced yesterday they have personnel who were exposed to COVID-19. One firefighter tested positive for the virus. 29 other firefighters and 3 lifeguards are in quarantine or self-isolation right now. 4 police officers were exposed and showing symptoms now. They are awaiting test results, and 11 more are self-isolating as well. So the new order, the details mean no surfing, no swimming, no taking walks along the beach or any city trails until further notice. The closures come after a weekend where many San Diegans were not practicing social distancing, instead gathering at local beaches, forcing police to close parking lots. Chief Nislight did say yesterday that any violation of these orders will be treated as a misdemeanor. That could mean up to 6 months in jail or up to a $1,000 fine, or potentially both in some cases.
Over the last several weeks, the resiliency and the strength of San Diegans has been on full display for all to see. San Diegans, by and large, have absolutely been stepping up and cooperating with state, county, and city directives. Local businesses, big and small, have continued to make efforts to keep the public safe from this virus. However, we are not done. We continue to work together, one united effort, all of us, to help flatten the curve. Public health officials have been clear that the full impact of the coronavirus is not here yet. The storm is still on the horizon. So every day, every hour, and every minute must be focused on preparing our city. That's why we're drafting eviction moratorium laws that protect businesses and residents, putting into effect economic relief package to help small businesses stay afloat.
One-legged.
San Diegans from all walks of life are continuing to come together, continuing to help their neighbors, helping one another, and represent the best spirit of our city. I will conclude, as I always do, reminding us all that when we work together is how we are going to get through this quicker. We can do it by taking care of each other and working together.